Time. It just seems to go by so fast for some reason. Like I just finished my first semester of university, but it felt like the semester just started. I don't even remember what I did this semester, to be honest. Like I went to lectures, met some new people, had exams, but I just don't feel like I truly remember it. I think I'm not the only one who feels like this. There is this feeling these days that life is just passing by so much faster. A quick search and they say that one reason could be our lack of new experiences. The more novel the experience, the more energy that is needed to fully understand what's happening around us. And as you age, experiences become repetitive, thus they seem to go by faster. But I've just started university and had many new experiences. Why do I still feel like this? There's a somewhat well-known solution to this problem. Focus on the present rather than the future. Enjoy the journey. I get it, but for some reason, I'm just unable to live in the moment and actually enjoy the journey. I'm always thinking about what I want to do tomorrow, what I want to do 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I want to stop. I want to stop and enjoy each step of the journey, but for some reason, I just can't ever get to it. I put it aside, and I think the problem is I just feel like I don't have the time or energy to actually sit down and reflect. But I think there's a reason why. Whether we know it or not, we have been wired to think about achieving success in a certain way. And one of the first times we get exposed to this obsession with achieving success is by the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? When we ask kids this question, they think it's all about becoming this person. The teacher, the accountant, the filmmaker. They become so hyper-focused on achieving that. And as we get older and we progress through the education system, we get so preoccupied with achieving good grades to get a good job. Take a moment to look back at your time as a high school, college, or university student. Say you had a massive assignment due the day before. You would have a small group of people who would have managed their time wisely, worked on the assignment periodically, submitted the assignment on time, and had a good night's sleep. But the majority, they were staying up all night trying to finish up the assignment. And as life goes on, this becomes even more prevalent. Ask any successful person on how to achieve success, and their answer is work hard. Life becomes a race to see who works harder. The harder you work, the more successful you are. There's a pride in saying, I worked hard to get here. I sacrificed so much. After a certain point, it's not even about the quality or quantity of work we produced. It's about the amount of hours we worked. Squeeze in the extra 1 hour to study for the exam. Attend that networking event on your day off. This becomes our way of life. Take a walk downtown on a street filled with the headquarters of the biggest corporations like Apple, Microsoft, and Google, and you'll find yourself walking abnormally fast. And although there are many reasons for why we do this, from personal experience, I believe that it's due to the sensory overload. All the traffic, crowds, and bombardment of lights pushes us to walk faster as a social withdrawal response to reduce this bombardment of our senses. Subconsciously, social norms has forced us to live at this intensity, at this high pace. We've been molded to think that we need to achieve this so-called success far down in the future, and to achieve that we need to work faster, harder, and there's no time to waste. We must sacrifice everything in our present for our future. If you're so preoccupied with achieving success far down into the future, and we live our life with that as our sole purpose, we never actually stop to pause and reflect about the present. But say we can overcome these social norms, bring ourselves to a pause. That should be enough to reflect, right? In the society we're in, what many consider to be a break or relaxation is not really considered relaxation by our brains. Imagine this scenario. After a long day of school or work, you sit down to relax, you pull out your phone, see if any of your friends texted you, and then you scroll for a bit on social media to be caught up with whatever is going on in the real world. Is this really a break? The amount of stimulation our brain encounters when using social media is scary. Whenever we're bored, the first thing we do is pull out our phones and look at something random. And from personal experience, I know how addicting this is. And when we're so addicted to being stimulated by this form, we don't actually give ourselves a mental break. Talking to people, observing our surroundings, and letting our thoughts wander are some of the ways we can slow our days down. The commute home really helps me because I really feel like I get an opportunity just to slow down and think about all the things I've done in that day. But the thing is, all these subtle forms of reflection are impossible due to our addiction to our phones. The fact that we resort to this negative form of relaxation hinders our ability to reflect on our daily lives. Think about your last vacation or prolonged break. For most, it's probably the winter or summer holidays. It seems like this would be a great time for us to reflect, but actually it's not. Most people either fall into one or both of these following categories for what their vacation looks like. So vacations for Group A would look something like this. And the vacations for people in Group B would look somewhat like this. The people in this group are doing all the things that have been pushed aside in the past few months and are essentially checking off a checklist. There are exceptions to these groups, but most people have vacations like the ones I just showed. The common ground between both these types of vacations is that they're very packed. There's probably an itinerary that's being followed, and what happens is that this leaves no time for long periods of reflection. Most people don't plan to have vacations that don't allow for any time of reflection, especially the people in Group B. But these vacations are a direct consequence of the social norms we follow. As I mentioned before, we're subconsciously living at this high pace, trying to accomplish something in the future by sacrificing the present. We are speedrunning through all these amazing events in a matter of a few weeks, and this follows our cultural work, and now even vacation has become a fast-paced endeavor. Social media and our vacations make it hard to find time to reflect about our lives. However, it's important to understand that time is only one half of the puzzle in achieving true reflection. The other half, energy. Along with time, I just never seem like I have enough energy, and I think there are a few major mechanisms in which our lifestyles consume so much energy. Technological development has sped up massively over the past few decades, and these changes have made new ways of doing almost everything. For example, consider buying groceries. 50 or so years ago, the only option to buy groceries was to literally walk to the store and buy the groceries. But now, you also have the option to order it online and get it delivered to your door, or pick up the groceries that have already been selected and packaged for you at the store itself. A simple task went from having only one way to having 3 ways to accomplish it. This trend is seen in all aspects of life. With online dating, we have the opportunity to choose between billions of people to find our partner. But the thing is, these abundance of choices make us constantly doubt ourselves. Was it the right decision to go to medical school? Was it the right decision to quit my job as a civil engineer to become a freelance photographer? Each time we make a choice or contemplate about a choice, we consume cognitive energy. The more choices you're required to make in a day, the more energy you consume in that day. And in a world filled with so many choices, you can understand why we're so exhausted by the end of the day. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, you need physical and mental energy to do the task efficiently and successfully. And the same applies to reflection. Only when you have enough energy to critically think, you will be able to truly reflect upon your day and life. Abundance of choices in our life act as an energy drain, but what is an even bigger energy drain is the pace of the society we're in. This relates back to the concept we discussed before about how the society we're in requires us to live at this high pace. We're so preoccupied with achieving success in the future that we forget to pause and embrace the present. This lifestyle hinders our ability to find time to reflect, but on top of that, it's actually very demanding as well. Burnout has been a very common phenomenon in the past decade. As a student, there are many times where I feel burnt out and it sucks. Like it can be so hard to just get out of bed, and even if I do, I just don't feel motivated to do the things I have to do and love to do. There are levels to the severity of burnout, but it's safe to say many of us have felt this way before. But why do people feel more burnt out these days? We tend to overpack our daily and yearly schedules, make absurd goals for the new year, and try to do anything possible to achieve that. There's this imbalance between focusing on the present and focusing on the future. These busy schedules make us feel like a robot, and our mind and body just can't take it anymore. Our busy lifestyles make us feel so exhausted, and they consume so much energy, preventing us from being able to reflect. So here we are. Before you click off the video, I just want to let you know that reflection is hard. Just because I created a video about reflection doesn't mean I'm a master of reflection in any way, shape, or form. I do have a hard time focusing on the present rather than the future, and to be honest, I'm just at the beginning of the journey of reflection. In this video, I want to highlight the challenge of finding time and energy to reflect, because I truly believe that to overcome any challenge, you need to thoroughly understand the challenge itself. My hope is that while watching this video, you were able to reflect upon yourself and your life a bit. And if that didn't happen, I hope that at least you found this video interesting, and I really appreciate you watching until the end. And in case you're wondering, all the content in this video is my own opinion, based off conversations I have with my friends and research I've done online about why we truly find it hard to reflect in our lives. There is no right or wrong answer to this question, and I just want to take a moment to emphasize the fact that reflection doesn't just mean writing in a journal. It can happen in any form. It can just even be staring at the wall and letting your thoughts wander and having a moment just to think about your life. There is no right way to reflect, and reflection can definitely change one's life. And before I end off, I just want to say that the journey of reflection is one that has no end.